Hey there, challengers. Um, those of you who have done groups with me before, whether it's a free group or a paid group, or just with me involved, will know that I like to do videos. I sort of have a tradition of doing a video for every group on the first day. A lot of the times, those of you who are familiar with me will have seen me doing it while I'm walking my dog in the morning. Right now, I'm not walking the dog in the mornings because, well, it's a complicated story having to do with trying to get my 19-year-old son to invest himself in our lives in the house by making him walk the dog twice a day. You really don't need to know that much about it. So what I thought I would do today, though, is since I'm in the office today, I thought I would take advantage of the fact that I've got some tools here that I don't have at home, like a whiteboard, dry erase board, and I'm wearing my professor jacket, so I can be Professor Joe right now instead of Coach Joe. And of course, I bring everything with me except the tripod for my camera, so I had to improvise that. So I'm sorry about this angle looking a little funny. What I wanted to do is I wanted to talk a little bit about how you manage the portion system in the 21 Day Fix and the 21 Day Fix Extreme. And to understand it, I was going to use an example of me because I think that seeing somebody actually do this helps a little bit better than trying to take a conceptual idea and turn it into an actual practice. So what I've got here is this really cool chart that I've drawn by my very self. It shows breakfast, snack number 1, lunch, snack number 2, dinner, and snack number 3. Probably the first thing that most people react to when they see the nutrition plan in 21 Day Fixes, and we've had this comment in this group, is, oh my God, do I have to eat all that food? Yes, that's the short answer. And here's an explanation of why. The typical American diet, the standard American diet, is nutrient poor and calorie rich. So there's two things that are going on here. There's two things that Autumn is trying to accomplish with this system. One is if you are overeating or over consuming a particular type of food, Autumn's going to try and get that in line so that you can lose weight, you can get in better shape. But the other part of it is, and this is very little understood by the average person because it's not something that can be easily presented in a diet book, and it's not something that can be easily understood from a 3-page or 2.5-page article in a fashion magazine. And if I sound kind of cynical there, I am. I believe very strongly that most of the nutrition advice, the diet advice that's given to people in America is not just bad, but potentially harmful, and that the more I work with people, the more it becomes obvious to me that lots of people who have sort of a body composition that they're not happy with, they've got too much body fat, right? Not enough muscle, they're weak, they're carrying around too much extra them. They're not necessarily eating too much, they're eating a very poor quality diet. We have a very strange circumstance in this country that I'll compare to the third world. My niece is an epidemiologist who works in Kenya for part of the year, and she and I had dinner together a few weeks ago, and we were talking about this. And in Africa, large portions of Africa, people are malnourished because they don't have enough food. And in America, people are malnourished because they eat the wrong food. We have plenty of food. It's very, very difficult to, unless you're extremely poor, to go hungry in America. However, if you eat what most Americans eat, it's very easy to not get nourished properly. And one of the ways the body reacts to that is by, no other way to put it, panicking, going into crisis mode and thinking that it has to store as much fat as it can because you're obviously starving, right? Okay, so The point of this, the point of the 21-day fix, the point of this portion system is to get you to eat real food. I answered a question earlier today about PB2. And I know that people who are dieting love that stuff because they get the taste of peanut butter with half the calories. Well, not a great idea. Peanut butter, natural peanut butter is actually a very nutrient-rich food. It's a great source of nutrition and dietary fats. And I'm going to post a write-up about what I'm talking about there, because that's a long thing that you really kind of need to pay attention to. Where you're going to have a hard time with this is if you try to fit the stuff that comes in boxes, bags, and cans that you've been eating or may have been eating into this system. It's not going to work very well, because you're going to have to try and do a nutritional analysis on the thing in the box. And for the most part, what's in a box? Well, a lot of carbohydrates and not much else. If it does show any vitamins or minerals, that's stuff that was put in there after the fact. It's not particularly bioavailable, which means your body can't use it, so it's worthless. You might as well eat sawdust. It might sound harsh, but that's my personal feelings. So, to get to this, because I'm already 6 minutes into this, here is what my day looks like so far. So, for breakfast this morning, I had Shakeology. That was one red. And actually, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Okay, I had one red from Shakeology. I also added a scoop of protein powder. That's another red. So there's two sources of protein. I can explain why I do that. That's peculiar to me. That's not something you need to do. Half a banana. That was one purple. And I count my almond milk as one yellow. And the reason I do that is because, unlike a lot of you folks, I don't eat a lot of refined carbohydrates. I don't really need to provide myself with an extra yellow in the week. So I get away with doing that. The other thing I did this morning, because I felt like, I needed the extra energy, I added a teaspoon of peanut butter. Actual real peanut butter in there, and it makes this Shakeology taste great. Okay, so my morning snack, that was some red sweet peppers. I love those. There's like little ones. They come pre-packaged, and you just throw them into the into the right size container, and they're fantastic and they're yummy, and I adore them. It's great stuff. I also had a serving of almonds. I had some almonds because I like nuts, and that's a good source of fat for me. So that burned an orange. Let's see. And I had an apple. Okay. So that got me through the morning. That's breakfast and my snack this morning. For lunch, I had an orange that burns a purple. I had 4 carrots. I love carrots. And so that 4 carrots, if you cut those up and I put those into that green container, that was 2 green containers worth of carrots that I had this morning. I also had a red container with some broiled skinless chicken breast. And I had 1 corn tortilla. Now, Autumn says, in the book, says, 2 small ones. Mine was kind of big. Haven't been able to find the smaller ones that are the type I want. That did another yellow. Okay, so that's how I'm getting through the day so far. I haven't done an afternoon snack yet, mainly because I'm going to be doing my workout later, and I kind of want to specifically do things that feed that workout and take care of me to get me through it. So that's how you walk through and you work through this process. It's not horribly complicated, But you do have to keep track. The app that I included the link to is great. I use that so I don't have to keep printing out paper sheets and marking it up, so I don't have to mark up in my book. Because I had one challenger last year, she marked all over her book, and then she wanted to do another round, and she's like, I marked all over my book. And I sent her some new sheets and stuff like that. But, what's the rest of the day going to look like? Well, that has to do with what your budget looks like. And for me, actually, hang on. Because I haven't got this committed to memory yet. My total budget here is 3 purple, and I am done with that. 4 green, 5 red, 4 yellow, 1 blue, 1 orange, and 5 of those puppies. So people are going to wonder, where does this one come from? Well, the easiest source of this is the fact is that if you're cooking normally, you're going to be using cooking oil. You're going to be using olive oil, or you're going to be using coconut oil to cook with. You need to count that, and this is where you need to count it. This one, I vacillate on that one. I oscillate back and forth on this one. Sometimes this is where I put my nuts. I did just say that. Sometimes this is where I put it, sometimes this is where I put it. I really haven't made up my mind on that, because I think that Autumn's a little unclear about it. So if one of the other coaches wants to wade into the debate with me, I'm happy to engage you, because I want to learn from you as well. These guys, a lot of the times what will happen is I will actually look at my budget and how I'm doing, and I will be short a teaspoon, and I will go and have myself a teaspoon of almond butter or peanut butter, which is Ace's. It's a great treat, actually, at the end of the day. This ends up being a habit that you have to work on. You have to work on this, because this is not like the way that you've been eating. I know it isn't. It wasn't the way that I was eating. I thought I was eating pretty good. I started doing this, and incredible stuff happened, physically, wellness-wise. So stick with it. If you get jumbled up, don't freak out. It's not a disaster. It's a learning process, and we're going to help guide you through this. Professor Joe with his little black Expo marker saying, see ya.